MiMi and Mukoy by Clint Hoffmann and Janette Lucas. Hi, I'm Clint. My friends say I'm strong and tough, and I guess I am. Courageous, they say, especially on the footy field. It's good to remind yourself of your strengths, especially when self-doubt creeps in. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, Kipling says. Here are 10 positive things about myself. I was a good, great amateur footballer. 2, fearless. 3, loved cricket and played overseas. 4, I'm an ideas man. 5, successful in business. 6, generous. 7, earned university degrees and made it to Harvard. 8, problem solver. 9, app developer. 10, I always strive to be a good bloke or the best I can be. And I've travelled the world. Well, that's 11, but never mind, a bit of GST added. I often pick something from the list and say it out loud as an affirmation. I'm a good bloke. It might seem egotistic to an outsider, but it helps because you've got to back yourself. I stuck the list on the fridge because I'd been doubting myself more and more. Then as usual I got busy and I forgot about it. Problems must be faced. Buried hurt will always resurface, demanding attention. In my mid-30s I worked with a mental wellness therapist named Barry Hogg, or Baz as I called him. He helped keep me on track as I tried being a better bloke. His guidance and support were instrumental in helping me heal and cope with my struggles, keeping me mentally on track. Because as a boy, I didn't really realise the level of trauma I'd experienced. I think things were going okay. But then one day, my fiancée and I split up. No surprise there. Relationships don't last long for me. I'm always too busy. And I guess deep down, I was too scared to commit. I'm out, she said. I won't lie, I was sad, resentful and in denial. But I looked at the little Yorkie she had bought me for my 40th birthday, and it stopped me from feeling like a complete failure or Gumby. It seems to me that dog loved me no matter what. Breakups are common, aren't they? My parents split when I was young. Dad was just 19 when I was born, and he left my brother and I were still young, leaving Mum to raise us alone. I loved my dad, and I still do. I know he probably did his best, but it just didn't work out with Mum. That heartbreak as a 9-year-old stayed with me, and it's still with me now. After the gal left, I picked up MiMi, and she looked into my eyes as if she knew exactly what I was thinking. A warm feeling rushed through me. I had already changed her name from Little Miss Magic to MiMi, the Aboriginal word for spirit in Kakadu. Her spirit enveloped me and soothed me. I took her for walks with a Louis Vuitton collar and lead, much to the shock of my footy friends and foes. She loved jet skiing on the Darwin Harbour, dodging crocodiles, and she accompanied me everywhere. She was my plus one. I then bought a little sister for her, a Yorkie, called Juliet, who I renamed Mukoy, the Aboriginal word for spirit from Arnhem Land. For 8 years, MiMi and Mukoy lifted my spirits and are my constant companions. As a single bloke, an entrepreneur, a workaholic, and world traveller, I embraced a work hard and play even harder attitude. Despite living in a beautiful house and buying everything that I couldn't afford as a Household Commission kid growing up, I often felt lonely. It seemed that I thought money could buy happiness, but MiMi and Mukoy showed me otherwise. In hindsight, MiMi and Mukoy were my happiness. They gave me company and responsibility, and they didn't care about material things at all. Their love was unconditional, and unbeknownst to me, they were helping me cope with my undiagnosed and untreated complex post-traumatic stress disorder. The darkest time of my life was when my brother, who spent a good deal of time in jail, got out, and he had a psychotic episode and committed an unspeakable act. I was overseas at the time, in China on a work trip. When I returned, the press hounded me, damaging my business and family reputation. I was devastated, alone and in the darkest place with only my 2 dogs to lick my mental wounds. I had no playbook and thought I'd lose everything I had worked so hard to build from very humble beginnings. Immediately after the tragic event, one of the best things I did was I sought the help from a clinical psychologist who was also a trauma brain specialist, and her name was Carmel O'Sullivan. I have had countless sessions with her, and I call her Aunty Carmel because my sessions with her are so helpful, and it feels like I'm just having a cup of tea with an auntie, talking through problems and sorting my brain out. Aunty Carmel officially diagnosed me with CPTSD due to earlier traumatic events that occurred in my life, and has worked with me ever since to order the disorder. The secret is in the knowing. Once you know, you can get help. Then along came Martina, a beautiful, intelligent and powerful Larrakia Warrai woman who had been a friend of mine since I was 13. She was a single mum living in Uluru, Ayers Rock, with her daughter LJ. Worried about me, they flew to Brisbane to look after me. For 2 weeks, they took my dogs for walks, fed us, and tried to make me laugh. One day, while walking the dogs on the beach, it seemed like the 2 little spirits and LJ played a trick on us. The salty sea breeze carried the laughter of children playing nearby and the distant call of seagulls. Before we knew it, Martina and I were wrapped up by the dogs' leads. LJ laughed hysterically, her laughter mingling with the crashing waves, and as I looked into Martina's eyes, the whole world seemed to stop. My mind cleared, and we both smiled and then laughed together. It felt like the spirits had spoken. After 2 weeks, Martina and LJ flew back to the centre of Australia. Suddenly, I think Martina missed me. LJ missed the dogs and they missed her, and I missed the closest thing to family I'd felt since I was a little boy. Martina came back to visit me a few months later, and we went on a picnic under her favourite tree on Kangaroo Point with MiMi and Mukoy. The scent of the eucalyptus filled the air, and the rustling leaves created a soothing symphony. I gathered my courage and said, "Martina, will you go out with me?" She looked at me, her eyes sparkling with mischief, and she replied, "Of course, but where are we going?" She helped me rebuild a life together, and I'll never forget when I bared my soul and biggest fear, saying, "Martina, I think I'm about to go bankrupt and lose everything." She replied, "I don't care. We'll live under a tree, and then we'll build a treehouse." In a couple of years, Martina and I were married in the most amazing fairy tale wedding, surrounded by new and old friends on the first day of spring in Brisbane. The fragrance of blooming flowers and the sound of joyful chatter filled the air. We became a family of 5, and what made it the best day ever was my brother's daughters and LJ all being there as flower girls. Now I have a deadly daughter and a beautiful smart wife who both love me very much. And with my 2 best friends, MiMi and Mukoy, we are one big family with 4 gals and 1 guy. I never felt so happy. Now I can't imagine life without them. Even though I'm happy most of the time, and even though I have Martina and LJ there for me, I still have nightmares about what happened in the past. And when the dark shadow moves over me, I always have MiMi and Mukoy close by to chase away that black dog. Except when I have to go away for work. And I become sad because I have to leave my family behind. Then, to my surprise, Martina, LJ and Aunty Carmel helped make it official, so I never have to be alone whenever I travel, even to places dogs can't usually go. A box arrived unexpectedly in the mail. LJ helped me open it, and inside there was a soft package with some official papers on top. LJ was taking her time and acting very secretive as she unwrapped the 2 smart dog coats, one for MiMi and one for Mukoy. She spread them out on the floor, waiting for my reaction. Then I read the words printed under each of their names out loud. Therapy dog. That was it. I just could not hold back tears. Tears of happiness mixed with tears of laughter, because they started doing that loopy dog thing again and wriggled and squirmed, making it almost impossible for LJ to fasten the straps around their little tummies. MiMi and Mukoy are service dogs. It's a real job and it's official, and it means they can travel with you wherever you go, CJ, even to work, on the ferry, and even when we go camping or stay in hotels, to make sure you always feel calm and safe, LJ announced proudly. It was then that I realised they had always been my therapy dogs. Now they can travel with me wherever I go, ensuring I'll always feel supported. Everyone should know how important dogs can be for mental health. That's why I asked my beautiful friend and amazing artist Janette to help me tell the world. Therapy dogs can be there for us when we feel sad or anxious, make us feel loved and happy. MiMi and Mukoy will always be my best friends, my therapy dogs, and long after they leave this earth, they'll always be with me in spirit. The end of the beginning.